Yeah, so from today we'll start with the unit 5 that corresponds to the project management concepts. Okay. So similarly we will start the session with posing the same old 6 questions. What actually it is, who is going to do that one, why is it important, what are the steps, and what is the work product that you are going to produce, and how do you ensure that you have done it correct. Okay, so these are the basic 6 questions that what we need to pose. So now let's start with what actually it is. Okay, so project management, it is an art rather than it is a science, it is an art. Okay, so it comes by the nature and as well as by the experience that wherein a software developer is going to gain. Okay, so who is going to do the project management? Is it only the manager? No, it's not only the manager that one who is going to manage the project. Of course, the manager will be having a little bit of a higher responsibility, whereas almost all stakeholders that one who are concerned with respect to the project, they are supposed to uh, manage the projects. Why is it important? Okay. See, when you have lots of people working on different things, so it becomes essentially necessary for us to manage. So if the things are not getting correctly, then you need to bring it onto the track. So that's why you need the project management. What are the steps? So try to understand the 4 P's, that is the people, process, project, and as well as the process. Okay, so the people must be organized to perform the software work effectively. Communication with the customer and other stakeholders must occur so that the product scope and the requirements are understood. A process that is appropriate for the people and the product should be selected. The project must be planned by estimating the effort and calendar time to accomplish the work tasks, defining the work products, establishing the quality checkpoints, and identifying the mechanisms to monitor and control and the work defined by the plan. So what is the work product that you are going to gain by following the project management? So a project plan is produced as a management activity is going to commence. So the plan defines the process and the tasks to be conducted, and identification of the people that one who is going to do the work. So mechanisms for assessing the risks, controlling the change, and as well as evaluating the quality. These are the work products that what you are going to produce. How do you ensure that you have done it right? So you are never completely sure that the project plan is right until you have delivered a high quality product on time and as well as within the budget. So if the project is being delivered within the time and as well as maintaining the quality characteristics, then that indicates that the project management has happened correct. Okay, so once again it has been said from the class 1 of the software engineering that the software is nothing but it is the product, okay, developed by the people following a process through the project. So these are the 4 P's that are ingredients for the project management: people component, product component, process component, and as well as the project component. Okay, so now let us see who are going to be the stakeholders with respect to the project. So the senior managers, one who define the business issues that have the significant influence on the project. Basically, it is the senior managers that one who have the responsibility of bringing the project into the organizations. So next, when it is being brought over there, so then the technical managers will plan, motivate, organize, and control the practitioners who actually do the software work. And next, it is the practitioners. It might be a developer, it might be a tester, it might be a person one who has the responsibility of generating the code. They are being called as the practitioners who deliver the actual working product. Customers, they may specify the requirements for the software to be engineered, and other stakeholders who have a peripheral interest in the outcome. Okay, so customer might be the chairman of the bank, whereas the end user might be a customer of the bank, or it might be a teller, it might be a manager, or it might be a uh, end user, that one who is going to interact with the software, that one whenever it is being needs to be generated. Okay, so the challenges are the work enforcement that wherein the software team is supposed to go is how do you motivate them, because until and unless the people are being motivated, it is not possible for them for us to get the work being done. So how to motivate means then how you are supposed to create the good ideas, how to organize the things, how to lead them, and finally how do you collaborate each and every one. So these are the basic questions that what the software teams is supposed to undergo. Okay. Next is the, so in a team, until and unless it is being led by someone, things won't happen. Okay. So what are the basic characteristics that that team leader needs to have? First of all, he needs to be a good listener, a good shaper, a good communicator, and as well as a good organizer. Okay, so if these qualities things are being present with the leader, then they can bring about with respect to the MOI model or motivation, organization, and as well as the ideas of the innovation. Okay, so now how do you frame a team? Okay, so depending on the nature of the project, I need to frame the team. So then now the question might be, how do you what many number of the people needs to be included in the team? Okay, how many testers you need, how many developers you are in need of, how many architects are in need of, and all. So it all depends on the difficulty of the problem that what you are trying to solve. Okay, so and it also depends on the size of the resultant programs that what you are going to generate in terms of the KLOC. So what is the time duration of the project? The degree to which the problem can be modularized, that is how many modules you are trying to bring, the required quality and as well as the reliability of the system to be built, the rigidity of the delivery date, the degree of the sociability. Of course, in the beginning stages, it may not be possible for any project manager to answer all these questions at a time. So then correspondingly, as and whenever the project is going to make a proceed over there, then correspondingly based on his experience and as well as the domain expertise, the project manager is having the responsibility of answering this set of the questions. Okay, it's similar to building up of your house. Okay, so how it is not possible for you to estimate how many tons of the steels are being needed, how many kilo bags of the cement is being needed, how much sand is being needed. You cannot exactly estimate. Okay, so roughly you will tell something. There might be plus or minus depending on what they. So now let us look through how it is possible for you to frame the team. There are actually four number of the ways wherein it is possible for you to frame the team. The first one shall be the closed paradigm. Okay, so when this is going to be appropriate, okay, whenever you are having a traditional hierarchy of the authority, then this closed paradigm is going to work. Okay, so when it is appropriate, it can work well when producing the software that is quite similar to the past efforts. Okay, so you are trying to be put on the same type of the projects, then a closed paradigm might work over there, but it is less likely to be innovative when working with the closed paradigm. So much of the innovation cannot happen with respect to the closed paradigm. The second one might be a random paradigm that structures a team loosely and depends on the individual initiative of the team members. Okay, so when innovation or technological breakthrough is required, teams following the random paradigm will certainly excel. The third one being the open paradigm that attempts to structure a team in a manner that achieves some of the controls associated with the closed paradigms, but also much of the innovation that occurs when using the random paradigm. Okay, so it is the mixture of the closed and as well as the random paradigm. Synchronous relies on the natural compartmentalization of the problem and organizes the team members to work on pieces of the problem with little active communication among themselves. So depending on the nature of the problem that needs to be solved now, Okay, so now you can choose any of the paradigm over there. So irrespective of the paradigm that you are going to choose, so you need to avoid the toxicity with respect to the team. So now let us see why this toxicity is going to arrive with respect to the team, or it is going to get exist in the team. Okay, a frenzied work atmosphere in which the team members waste energy and lose focus on the objectives of the work to be performed. So this is the first reason, wherein there is no objective for the project, or is there the roles and as well as the responsibilities have not been clearly defined, then the developers might lose interest with respect to the project. Okay, that might be the first reason. So high frustration caused by the personal, business or technological factors that cause friction among the team members. Okay, so frustration might be caused due to any of the factors. Either it might be by personal, or it might be by business, or change in the technology. Okay, so they might be the second reason. Fragmented or poorly coordinated procedures, or a poorly defined or improperly chosen process model that becomes a roadblock to accomplishment. Okay, so you are trying to follow a procedure with respect to a team wherein the other team members cannot cope with respect to that one, then the team might become toxic. So unclear definition of the roles resulting in lack of accounting and resultant finger pointing. Okay, and the another one might be continuous and repeated exposure to the failure that leads to a loss of the confidence and lowering of morale. This might be the. So what to do? So go with the agile. So as it was discussed in the agile principles, that the team members must have the trust in one another. The distribution of the skills must be appropriate to the problem. That means you cannot put 6 developers and only 1 tester like that. That should not happen. Okay, so as far as possible, try to make the team to be self-organizing. Okay, so team coordination and communication, it can happen in many number of the ways. Either it can be formal impersonal approaches, okay, or it could be formal interpersonal, informal interpersonal electronic communication, and interpersonal working. So anyhow, the main reason to get the coordination and as well as the communication is to gain the knowledge. Okay, so as far as possible, try to define the scope of the product in the terms of the context, IO, and as well as function and performance. So the software project scope must be always unambiguous and understandable at the management and as well as at the technical levels. So try to decompose the problem. Never try to solve the problem as a whole. That's what we are going to call it as the divide and conquer approach. Make as many number of the modules or these. Try to have your concerns as separated. So it once the scope is defined, it is decomposed into constituent functions. It is decomposed into user visible data objects, or it is decomposed into a set of the problem classes. So the decomposition should continue until all the functions or the problem classes have been defined. Okay. So now let us see when actually the projects get into the trouble. Okay. So there might be many number of the reasons that why the project falls in a jeopardy or the into a problem. First one might be software people don't understand their customers' needs. So they are trying to build a product which no one wants to buy. Okay, then that might be a failure of a project. So you are not trying to define the scope of the product completely, or you are not trying to manage the changes. That means the requirement change or the design change or the code change or the test cases change. It's not being managed poorly. Often it is being said that fixing the problems, okay, trying to fix the software problems after it is being delivered is almost 100 times costlier than that of trying to fix the issues before it is being designed. Okay, so the technology might change. Okay, today I might be having a one technology, tomorrow new technology might come, and then the project might suffer. Okay, so the needs of the business itself might get changed. Okay, so earlierly TVs were just meant for watching the channel center, whereas now the business need is not so. So if Onida or the Videocon, they come up with the same TV, that is the CRT monitors and all, no, they won't be having any business at all, because now TV is no more a TV, whereas now they are becoming the smart. Okay, so the users are resistant, that means they won't change. So sponsorship is completely lost. The project team lacks the people with the appropriate skills. Managers avoid the best practices and as well as the lessons that they have learned. So all these things turns to the failure of the project as a whole. Okay. Uh, so how to uh, avoid these things? That is the common sense approach to the projects. The first one is to start on the right foot. That is, this is accomplished by working hard to understand the problem that is to be solved, and then settling the realistic objectives and as well as the expectations. Maintaining the momentum. So it was said in the agile that deliver the increments frequently from couple of weeks to couple of the months. It should not be the thing that the increment one is being delivered by the end of the third week and after some 6 months there is no delivery at all. That should not happen. And next is to track the progresses. Okay, so check what is the level of the source code that you have generated. Okay, what is the number of the test cases that you have generated, and what are the reviews that you have got by subjecting it your code to the FTRs or the formal technical reviews. Make smart decisions, conduct a post-mortem analysis. That means try to know the root cause for the deviations over there. Okay, so this is called as W5HH principles, that is being described by, that is being suggested by the Barry Boehm in the year 1996. So it is nothing but in order to make the project to be more clear, you are supposed to ask these questions. This is called as W5HH. These questions are why is the system being developed, what will be done, when will it be accomplished, who is responsible, where are they organizationally located, how will the job be done technically and managerially, how much of the each resources will be needed. Okay, so next is the critical practices, that is in order to make the project more in a convenient manner. These are the critical practices that are being followed. The first one is the risk management. Okay, so first you need to identify what might be the possible risks that you could see with respect to the project, and then you are supposed to develop a plan that one is going to mitigate them. And the next one might be you need to estimate the cost, and as well as you need to plan or you need to schedule the deliverables. That is what the empirical cost, and schedule the estimation. And then it might be the metric based. That means you need to identify what is the value that you are trying to arrive, depending on which it might decide that how many testers, how many developers might be needed over there. Earned value tracking, defect tracking against the quality targets, and people aware project management. Bhaskar, Bhaskar, one second, Bharat. Okay, so these are the concepts that what you need to know basically with respect to the project management.